I am really glad all of you are here today because, to be quite frank with you, I am worried. Last Sunday, we adopted an $825,000 budget for the Lutheran Church of the Resurrection that included something called community engagement. The idea is to go out there and minister to the needs of the people we meet. And that's what's got me worried. Do we have any idea what we're doing? Do we have any idea who we'll meet? I mean, it would be one thing if we met John Dideker. I mean, I like John. We all like John. We could stand one or two more Johns in this congregation. Not too many more than one or two John. But John looks like us, and he thinks like us, and he believes like us. Truth be known, John is one of us. But what happens if the people that we meet aren't? Out there, we're liable to meet Billy, who will tell you that he's in love with Frank, and they want to adopt a child. Now, hear me, folks. We do not have to accept their lifestyle, but would we accept them? Out there, we're liable to meet Francesca. Francesca is a perfectly wonderful woman who is a perfectly illegal immigrant. Well, if she's not welcomed in this country, should she be welcomed in this congregation? Out there, we're liable to meet Mary, who's suffering from AIDS. And Phil, who is a repeat sex offender. And Larry, who is of all things a Vikings fan. How in the world can you worship God with one of them in the same pew? I don't know if we'll meet Bernie Madoff out there. He's the former NASDAQ chair who cheated investors out of $65 billion and who has been convicted of everything from securities fraud to money laundering to perjury. We wouldn't want him in here, would we? Folks, before we go out there, we better decide who we want in here. Because I can tell you this from past experience. It is better to keep them out than kick them out. Who does Jesus want in here? I mean, we're Lutherans after all, and so we talk a lot about grace, but the question is, what is it? What does grace mean? Who does God share His grace with? The people in today's text choked on the answer. A widow from Zarephath? Naaman the Syrian? I mean, come on, folks, they hated them as much as we hate sex offenders. They were foreigners. They were not a part of the chosen people. Come on, let's just say it. They were a cut below. What in the world is God doing, wasting His grace on them? It wasn't the first time, you know. A cheat and a con artist named Jacob. A Persian king named Cyrus. A Christian basher named Saul. An Ethiopian eunuch. I mean, come on, folks, that's why Jonah didn't want to go to Nineveh. He despised the Ninevites, had every right to despise the Ninevites. And he thought God would go soft on them. Remember what he said? I know you to be a gracious God, slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love. And there it is, all in a moment. Those people in that text, and many of us in this room, are offended by the very grace that saves us. God gives it to us and we are blessed. But God gives this to somebody who we don't think deserve it, and we become belligerent. Oh, come on, God, they're bums. They're ne'er-do-wells. They're moral degenerates. I mean, come on, God, they don't deserve it. As if we do. As if we deserve the love and the grace and the mercy of God any more than anybody else. Jesus one day asked this question: do you begrudge my generosity? And the honest answer is, you bet your life we do. So folks, before we go out there and engage that community, we better ask ourselves a question. With whom are we willing to share the grace of God? Who is invited here? Who are the widows of Zarephath, the Naamans of Syria for us? Is there a place for them in this place? Maybe we too will choke on the answer. Because who are we to say no when it is clear that God has already said yes?